or were sort of concerned at that point. Even when Fafita got his yellow card, they were mad at Fafita getting the yellow card. But none of them thought that was, what was going to, what happened next was going to occur.
No,
yeah, it was madness. It was madness. That first sort of 8-10 minutes were. Toulouse just ran try after try.
Well, it went from 20 points to 4 to 22-10.
Yeah.
So
no time.
And within that time, I think there was a couple of knock-ons by Wakefield, either where they tried to intercept a ball or dropped a kick or something, but which helped Toulouse get the field position along with loads of 6-against and penalties, because Toulouse were just rolling them and they could not stay with them.
They couldn't stop it.
And they only had one set, I think, before Fafita came back on.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and maybe only one more set before Butler went off.
Yeah, I mean, the guys round, we said we have not touched the ball. We haven't touched the ball since the start of the second half. They were stunned and they were getting that. I mean, they were really, really cross with how stupid Fafita was for opening the door. Really, that Toulouse went rolling straight through. Credit to Toulouse. I mean, it was amazing that they did get on that roll.
Yeah, and the forwards were a big part of that. I think Peets was very active in that too, out of dummy half, and Corey Norman was pretty composed during the game, the opposite of Tony Gigo. You always think of Norman as being like a flair off-the-cuff player as well, really, but he was the composed one of the two. And Ollie Ashall-Bott, he's such a live wire player, isn't he? And throw in that great try saver in the first half in defence as well. There was one in the second half, wasn't there? Navarrete had a try saver as well in the second half, just right under the post, I think it was. Which would have been right in front of you guys, I think, at the time. So there was a couple of good pieces of defence from what is a very poor defensive Toulouse side, but they didn't have to defend that much in the second half because they absolutely just steamrolled down that hill.
They did. They took territory in possession, and that was remarkable. It was a great way to start the whole Magic weekend.
I think it had everyone other than Wakefield fans in good spirits, didn't it? That's the truth of it.
They were worried, weren't they? I mean, and I think they're right. I met some Wakefield fans from Nottingham on the train on the way into to Magic on the metro on the way into Magic, and they were concerned, and I was kind of scratching my head a little bit, thinking, I don't think you've got anything to be that worried about. I don't think Toulouse are that good. I don't think you've got anything to be worried about at all. But I have to say, after watching that game and seeing where it's at now, maybe Wakefield do have to be worried a little bit.
Yeah, well, they've boosted the squad by signing George Tafua and Josh Bowden. So Tafua, who's played for Samoa and Tonga, comes over from Manly Sea Eagles, the winger there, and prop Bowden has moved over from Hull FC, where he's been at 10 years at Hull FC, won the cup with them, and just hasn't had a look in this year. Obviously, not Hodgson's not a fan, maybe, but that crucial for them for bringing in new signings, because I think the new signings that have been brought in at Toulouse, I mean, all the players we mentioned really that. Other than Sangare, have been late season additions, and you throw Alvaro in there as well. Who I thought played quite a lot of minutes in that weather actually for a big man, as well. So you've got Ashall-Bott, he was signed week 3 of the season was it? Norman, Peets, Balmas, and Alvaro. They've all made an impact on that game. So Wakefield need the new players they're bringing in to make an immediate impact. As well. Yeah,
it's it could still be. I'm not a betting man. If I was, I'd still bet on Toulouse going down. But it's certainly going to be a bit more interesting than I would have predicted, I think, and be interested to see where we are in a couple of games' time.
Yeah, I mean, Brian asked me on the Sunday, where was I at about it now over relegation? I said they still have to be favourites, and he agreed, because they do leak too many points too easily, and they are coming from behind. Really, it's a crucial aspect of it. But they've got 3 home games in a row now, and Wakefield have got games coming up against some of the top sides in the next sort of 4 or 5 fixtures for them.
Yeah.
Whereas Toulouse are playing home games against mid-table sides that they would be expected to lose to, but can beat. So it's going to be really interesting. Maybe we should get dust the poll off.
There we go.
On relegation, see what people see.
Sounds like a good poll to do, Mark.
Yeah, let's get a heat check on where people are at, because it feels a bit different now, and it does feel like it's just those 2 in it as we get onto the other results later on. But let's get into the second game of Magic. From the bottom of the table to the top of the table, it was St Helens versus Wigan. Wigan were leading 6-2 at half-time, but again, the side leading at half-time down the hill got flipped around, and the side with the hill in the second half romped home to win 20 points to 18. So not quite the turnaround that we saw in the Toulouse game, but Liam Moore was the referee. He had a big decision to make in this game. I'm sure that'll feature in the fan views. In terms of the stats, the meter stats were heavily in St Helens' favour, kind of what we've seen most of this year. 405 more metres made at 1.6 metres better per carry average gain. Wigan didn't help themselves either, with an extra error and 2 more penalties conceded, so that played in things, especially the penalties conceded, because if you didn't kick them, you wouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wouldn't have kicked anything.
Exactly. It's a miracle we kicked them, to be honest.
What about the individuals?
So for the magnificent winning St Helens side, Will Hopewarte, remarkably, was on the field for once. 1 try assist and 243 metres, making up a lot of the metres that the likes of Tommy Makinson would have normally been making.
He got a lot of kicks, didn't he, where Wigan were kicking off the back foot, especially in the second half. And I'm not saying it pads those stats, I'm saying... Those stats are almost team stats, aren't they? Those meters, rather.
They are, because Wigan were, as you say, kicking off the back foot, so trying to get it high and long, and that gave him plenty of time to get under the ball and a lot of yardage in front of him to get back. Jack Wellsby, 1 try assist, 142 metres. Conrad Hurrell, 137 metres. Joe Batchelor, I won't sing the song. 1 try assist, 5 tackle busts, 131 metres and 2 clean breaks.
Everyone's here for your singing, even if I'll find it distasteful, David.
No,
so
I'm not.
I don't know the song though. You're gonna have to tell me what the song is. No.
Oh, I'll tweet it out later. You'll see a really good version that Red V have put out. I'll tweet that out to you later, mate.
That's not what we want. That's not what the listeners want, David.
Yeah, I know, you definitely do, trust me. For the gallant losing Wigan side, Bevan French, 2 tries, 1 try assist, 160 metres, 2 clean breaks. John Bateman, 1 try, what a good try that was, 154 metres.
Probably should have a try assist on them stats as well, shouldn't he? But the other
he probably should. Liam for the wonderful pass to Jack. Liam Farrell, 7 tackle busts, 145 metres. Ethan Havard, 42 tackles, 12 from marker and 131 metres.
At Mac Webb, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
No, you were saying?
No, that was good.
At MacWeb58 said, best and most intense game of the weekend. And I said that before Joe Waka Waka Bachelor's dummy of outstanding beauty. At the end of the season, the Wigan vs Saints pack will probably be the deciding factor, though credit to the 2 Fs for Wigan, who are class. Finally, King Jack, wind it in. Ginger Pearl, at least rub the right part of your body when you're play acting.
He's right about Jack winding it in. He's getting on my nerves.
It's not as good, and Faz wasn't as good at getting someone sent off first. So, no, I'm joking.
David Hunter, what an epic game. Wigan maybe deserved the victory after what they did with 12, but I knew Saints would score after the Hurrell offload. Poor numbering up at the left, and they just watched them score. Can't wait to see them play a finals game. Hopefully it'll be the grand final, David.
Yeah, that was the most expansive Saints got all game, wasn't it? Right in the last 5 minutes from that Hurrell offload where 4 Wigan defenders were in, and Hopewarte made a good run, then the ball got spread left, came right, and Wigan were too gassed to cover the space. And I don't know what Jake Bibby was doing flying out of the line when no one had the energy to cover around behind him at that stage. But anyway, it's in the books now, isn't it?
Nice dummy. In the books.
It was a great try, yeah. Great try.
Yeah, it was good.
Definitely not B. Dawson 1902 said. It's just a B-Tech version of the Hull Derby, isn't it?
It's the Derby, Hull fans. Jen K, brilliant day out in Newcastle in the sun. We absorbed a lot of pressure early on from Saints and kept them 22 points. Very good defence, I thought, Jen. I'm disappointed such a tight game was influenced by so much by a refereeing decision. On the plus side, there's no denying we are competitive now with Saints.
Yeah, that last point actually picks up on one of the notes I wrote. So I've not read these fan views before we got going, other than Brandon's one. But at the start of the season, I thought we were clearly miles behind Saints. At the Good Friday game, I thought we were still a bit of a way off. Obviously, we've beaten you in the semi-final, and in this game, it was close. You were arguably missing more influential players than the players we were missing, even though we were probably missing the same amount of players. But so I think that put something. Wigan playing against the Saints side that has no Walmsley and no Makinson, we should be beating that side. However, you put the mitigation on that of we got a red card. I'm not saying that we didn't deserve a card. I'm saying that we got a red card. Yeah. So you didn't. I didn't feel you were going to win without us having that red card. But I'm not saying he should have stayed on the pitch. But
yeah. I think we might have done, but we'll never know, will we?
No, we won't.
What I will say is, Saints have kept going at the same level that we were at last year. I think we're as good as we were last year when we were champions. I think Wigan are much better.
Yeah.
I think Pete's made a huge difference to Wigan. So I think Wigan are much closer to Saints now, and the last two games have shown definitely competitive. It'll be interesting to see when we're both at full strength, if we can get both at full strength, just where we are. But who knows? We might never see that.
Joshua Grander said the Wellsby Wankfest continues. If only the 7 chips for himself had paid off. Greedy bastard should have been done by the ref after scoring for the ball to French's head. Justifiable red cost Wigan the game. Not bad game for rugby's second best derby. I think we both agree Wellsby's got to rein it in a bit, but
he needs to wind his neck in, as Mike Webb said, and Mike's a Saints fan as well. He really does. He's got he's got a bit of an attitude that if he's not careful, it'll get him into trouble somewhere down the line.
He has, but we were talking about this, and he's got the game to back it up, and not just on one side of the ball, either both sides of the ball. Like we talked about other cocky players in the past who've been halfbacks or whatever, or people knocking around at the moment who can be a bit cocky, but don't have the same defensive level that backs it up. But like Wellsby, even though some of these chip kicks that John mentions didn't come off in terms of creating anything, what they did is they meant Wellsby in particular, because he was following up his own kicks fucking like a rocket, but meant Wigan started their sets on the back foot and and made Wigan get the first tackle inside their own 10 metres, and so it made it hard for them to get out. It was Saints ball, Wolf ball, classic, and it led to Bateman throwing a stupid offload that led to Wellsby getting the try that kind of started any sense of a comeback in terms of point scoring, because I didn't see where your points were coming from. So good was our goal line defence to that point.
Yeah, I thought, particularly in the first 20 minutes, Wigan's goal line defence was as good as I've seen in a long time. We couldn't find a chink. It wasn't like we weren't trying, although I don't think we were quite as slick as I'd like to have been. But there were no chinks in the armour. I do think
the only trick was we kept fucking dropping the ball in the exit sets to give you more chance to attack.
Definitely helped us to keep you penned in. I do think I agree with the point about all right. Some of the chips pushed Wigan back a bit further and started. You having to start your sets a bit deeper. However, I do think, other than being a bit of a bit gobby. The other thing I don't think Wellsby's as good at is kicks in general play. So he's required to do a bit more of that, playing at halfback rather than fullback. And I don't think it's a great strength at the moment. It's an opportunity for him to develop that a little bit.
Yeah, back him to improve.
Back at fullback. Yeah, I think he'll be back. I think it will improve, but I think when he's back at fullback and Dodd's back in the side next year, hopefully, he won't have to do that.